viewpoints and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date, April 18th, 2025, and just all kinds of stuff. We're having trouble getting all the celebrity announcements in. I told you we had 3. Now we have 4 celebrity announcements we're dropping tonight because we've got so much going on. First of all, I do want to welcome back Chad Harlan, my co-host, for the evening. Chad, of course, was here last week, but Chad, you're like the chicken soup of podcasting. You're my comfort food. So.
I also have no plans on Friday night, so that works out good.
Well, there's that, but for the record, I do have a lot of hot women as co-hosts that I can call in.
Wait, you're saying I'm not hot?
I'm saying you're not a hot woman, unless you identify that way. Who am I to judge? Our guest tonight, Richard Ewell of Franken Con fame. And I just have to say, Richard, y'all changed the way you're naming it. Now you're just calling it Franken Con. I can't make fun of the name anymore.
I know. We did that just because of you.
So anyway, the Franken Con's third cousin once removed. I'm going to get it in one time anyway. Joe Lewis is reviewing The Bondsman tonight. The Bondsman, which I think is streaming on, I want to say Netflix. I've seen it advertised. Now before we go further, I'm going to take a little solemn moment here. We keep losing people, and this is hard on my life. Elizabeth Sloan Van Hook, a longtime friend, a fan of Scarefest, a longtime attendee. She literally had her vacation locked in every year ahead of time. In other words, this was a standing order locked in at where she worked that she got off for the week of Scarefest. We lost her this past week. So rest in peace, Elizabeth, and we're going to miss you. But I wanted to go ahead before we went further and bring that up. Okay, bring up Richard now. Everybody, Frankencon, coming up May 9th and 10th, is, dare I say it, you might be my favorite small convention.
Oh, that's good.
And now part of it's the way y'all do the convention. Part of it, I love that god dang hotel. I love the hotel you all are in.
Yeah, I love that hotel, the staff, the rooms, everything, the area for the convention. It's really great. We, really for the town, Maryville and Alcoa, it's the only hotel that has the amount of space that, a convention would need.
Right.
So it was kind of an easy choice, but it's always been here. In fact, I had my prom in 1996 there, Wes.
1996. I'm old enough to be your dad. Jeez. Anyway, now, everybody, now one reason that we push Frankencon every year, other than just being a hell of a damn convention, the other thing is, now we were talking before the show, your philosophy is better guests, fewer guests. How'd you word it?
Kind of, yeah.
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah, we are limited on space. So there's been some years where we've had, I think Bride was the most guests we ever had. And then last year we had a lot. And then this year, we don't have a lot less than last year, to be honest. but it feels that way to some people. But if you look at the guest list, it's it's stellar from top to bottom, and that's kind of the route where we've been going.
I like, of course, I loved your little Scream Queen reunion you had last year.
That was
I
great.
love those people.
It's
This year,
one of our
once again,
favorites.
everybody, Franken Con has stepped up to the plate. I'm going to start with the bottom line because this is arguably your headliner. Joe Bob Briggs is coming along with Darcy the Mail Girl, and also Rhonda Shear. I'm going to put her in that group, even though she had her own horror host thing.
Yeah, I mean, very similar, kind of audience and crowd. But Joe Bob, has come back, made a comeback for on Shudder over the past, 5 years or so.
Has it been that long? Maybe. I guess it really has. I'm trying to remember when I had him on the show, and that was probably 5 years ago.
So Joe Bob Joe Bob and Darcy were at the very first Frankencon. So I know they were doing the show 4 years ago. So, and I think it was still, in that realm of kind of new, kind of thing. But, so yeah, we actually had them back for Bride of Frankencon, your favorite name. And, but they had a scheduling conflict, as sometimes they do. But that happened in like January or February, so I mean, it gave us enough time to find a. I don't ever like to say replacement. I just like to say, like somebody to fill that void or so, because I think replacement sounds like, well, we had to get them, and it's like it's never really like that.
I don't know about that. You're replacing it, and I understand, but I know our philosophy is if we have somebody cancel and it's not too close to the show, we try to replace them with someone of similar stature.
Sure.
So I mean, the word "replace" comes into it. So yeah, you'll be fine.
And it's funny, like, and it's whoever you get is never as good as who you lost. Like, no matter in people's eyes, So you're like, but anyway, so Bride, we were gonna do that, and then for the third year, we just took a kind of took a break, and then one of the first people we kind of brought up when we were going over guests is like, what about Joe Bob? And so we reached out and was able to work it out, and I mean, they're awesome. I mean, if you haven't met them at a con, I mean, they were the line of the first year was all the way through the vendor hall. Like, we had no idea what we were doing. We barely do now, but I mean, but the line, we had Joe Bob like in the other corner, not next to a door we could use from the hallway, and so the line just kind of went all the way down the vendor hall, but we got very few complaints. Everybody loved it. Joe Bob took his time with people. I mean, and I mean, this year we offered super VIP and VIP tickets, which are both sold out now. And there was a fast pass in there for Joe Bob, so a lot of people scooped those up. And this is the first time we've done like a fast pass type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it'll come in handy. But, everybody will get to have the opportunity to meet them, even with general admission, 1 day or 2 day, however.
Chad, over to you.
Richard, it's great to talk to you. We've talked at a couple of conventions in the past, so it's great to have an opportunity to talk to you here online.
Yeah, good seeing you, Chad.
Wes talked, you've got a great lineup coming this year, but my question is always, when I meet somebody who's in this line of work, how does one find themselves owning a horror convention?
Well, by mistake. This is the part where we get all sorts of like, we can joke, and when I'm with like Brandon and Wes and Adrian and other people that own other conventions, we can all like joke how crazy we are, but we all love it. It started coming out of COVID. So I was doing a podcast with one of my best friends, Matt, who most people know if they know Frankencon. And we were doing a podcast. We were doing some live events. We did a screening of Cannibal Holocaust at Central Cinema in Knoxville, and we just really liked doing kind of these smaller events. And coming out of COVID in 2021, everybody was just starving for something to do, honestly. Like, and even like guests. I mean, I can remember a time, celebrity guests and stuff. Like everybody was just ready to do, get back into the thing. Um, and so he reached out to Felissa Rose, everybody's favorite sleepaway camp star, um, and we did a little event with an evening with Felissa Rose at a place called the Bird in the Book down here in Maryville. And it was a huge success. It sold out. We sold like 100 tickets, or maybe 80. I think it was 80. I think we could put 100 people in the room, and I think we sold 80 tickets, and it was a huge success. Went off great, and we wanted to do it again, but we found that was kind of an anomaly to get. Those one-time events are kind of hard. So it was kind of my idea to let's just do a show. And Frankencon started off as a 1-day show. It was only on Saturday. And some tidbit of information. I thought, oh, it'd be cool to get some Jasons together. Friday, I picked that day because Friday the 13th was that Friday. And I thought, oh, that'd be cool. Not knowing like what all went into it and trying to organize that and all that. So we just went to the 14th the next day. So we scrapped kind of the Friday the 13th theme. And the first year we had Nightmare 2, 3 people from that, Mark, Kim, and Jack. We had Joe, Bob, and Darcy. We had Mick Strawn, Brian Bremer. So it was a really, really fun show, and it went off without a hitch. So, you got to do it again. You just get sucked into just seeing so many people happy and being able to do that. It just really fueled us, to just want to keep on going. Some days I doubt myself, but most of the time I'm fine.
And that's a big guest list for your first show, so I'm sure that that whetted everybody's appetite to get down there and see you.
It was pretty big. I know I'm probably forgetting somebody, but maybe not. I'm trying to think. I can see the layout in my head, but no, that was the second one. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that was a big list. And then Bride was even kind of bigger in a way. I mean, we had Felissa back, we had CJ and Tom, we had, Carl York, we had James Obar, creator of The Crow. Bride was kind of insane. And then last year, we got the Scream Queens, uh, we had the Thanksgiving reunion, we had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion. So we had 3 big reunions last year.
Well, you're at a great location. Knoxville's kind of centrally located. It's easy to get to from a lot of places. So
It's true.
I'm sure
I mean,
that builds
in
into it
Atlanta
too.
and Kentucky and Ohio, all that kind of people can drive, and a lot of people are in Nashville. So, they're within a 3 to 4 hour range. We have people drive from all over. So I know there's a few people in Alabama that drive. So, yeah, and I mean, we do have horror conventions close by, but I feel like Frankencon it hits its own niche, and if you've been, it's hard for me to explain that niche to people, but we do kind of, especially this year, focus on like 80s and 90s. So yeah, this year we kind of dove headfirst into that with like Dee Wallace and Danny Pintaro. So we got a Cujo reunion, which you don't see that much, to be honest, and it kind of baffles me as to why. But I'm very excited to have them both there. And then we got Michael Berryman, so we have a Hills Have Eyes reunion as well. So Kelly Maroney from Chopping Mall, Fast Times, and Night of the Comet. So
Oh,
yeah, well, we have a great lineup this year, and I'm really excited about it.
we're coming up on our first break, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it to the break, and we'll be right back with more talk about Frankencon.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Room magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Cibisati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Rue Morgue, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. We're talking Frankencon. Coming up May 9th and 10th. Technically Alcoa, Tennessee.
I mean, it is. It's the hardest thing to describe to people, right? Because it's in Alcoa, Tennessee, at the Knoxville Airport.
Yeah, that's...
So I just give up. But, and, I mean, it's only like 20 minutes from Knoxville, so 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, the only thing I remember first time we went down there, I'm like, why did they put the airport way over here? But then again, I'm sure
like
Cincinnati says, people in Cincinnati say the same thing. They didn't even get theirs in the same state. So, hey.
Yeah, it's always been there since I've been here. So a decision was made a long time ago.
Now one person, okay, I opened up your guest list tonight, and I have to say, Kelly Maroney, I'm excited about that because Night of the Comet was one of the first date movies that I remember going to. I remember, of course, actually who I went with, I can't even say she was a date, but it was my high school girlfriend buddy. But that movie, for whatever reason, just sticks in my mind how much I enjoyed it when we watched it.
Cool. Yeah. And Kelly's so nice. She's so active on social media. So I can't wait. She's going to be doing a scene breakdown of Night of the Comet. So that's where it's not just a panel. We take a scene from the movie and she talks over it, does kind of a live commentary thing. So very excited about that.
Now that kind of leads me to the other thing I wanted to talk about. This will be my, I guess, third time going.
You didn't go the first year?
No, I didn't get to go the first year.
Oh, okay.
I said, another damn convention, hell with it. But anyway, then they came back bragging about it. And before I even go on, I'm going to say, hey, and Brian Bremer, who's a fan favorite wherever he goes, sweetest guy in the world. But, okay, moving on.
He's been at the show all 4 years. This will be his 4th year.
He's your Felissa Rose.
Yeah, he really is.
He's your Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder, yeah. We told him, he always has an invite to us. If you've never met Brian, it'll be the best experience you've ever had. Nice guy, and then some crazy good movies.
Now, this is a part that throws me, and I think it's because I'm usually so tired by the end of the day that I don't even pay attention to what else is going on before or after Frankencon, during Frankencon. But okay. Okay, first of all, your off-site events. Now, everybody, if you're going, go ahead and make a big rush on the Frankencon Top Golf, because that is in danger of being canceled because they just don't have enough people to make it happen. And I thought it was a swell idea.
It is a cool idea. It's about a 20-minute drive from the location. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't know. Some people don't know what Top Golf is. You don't have to be good at golf. I went 2 weeks ago and I was terrible and I had the greatest time. It's basically bowling for golf. Like, it's the same kind of atmosphere. You just laugh and we're doing the Frankencon with Brian Bremer and Michael Berryman. So you get to hang out with them for about an hour, and in a very loosey goosey. There's only 10 tickets. There's only eight tickets remaining, and like Wes said, there is a risk that if more tickets don't sell, that it will have to be canceled. But it'll be a great time. I guarantee you'll have fun, and you can pick your team. You can pick whether you want to be with Michael Bremer. I'm just combining, making up my own person, Michael Berryman or Brian Bremer. So very excited about that. It's something I've never seen a convention do Top Golf. Maybe they have, but I've never seen it.
Well, I mean, we were the only convention that ever did bowling that I'd ever seen.
And then everybody did it.
You know, well, no, actually, I've not seen it because most conventions don't have a bowling alley handy.
Especially across the street.
Yeah. Now, I do think I saw another one do some axe throwing or something like that.
Yeah,
anyway,
I've seen that before. Yes.
Yeah. Now the other thing, okay, you all are doing a ghost hunt. Now this is a new thing for you all, right?
It is. So the ghost hunt is led by Matt. He has some ghost hunting experience. But this is more about the venue that we're going to. It's called Millennium Manor. There are 2 tickets left to this, by the way. We did have Scott Tepperman poised to join this, of course, from Ghost Hunters International. He unfortunately has to film Cruel Summer 4 the weekend of Franken Con. That's the only weekend he could do. So that was a bummer, but hopefully he'll be back next year. And but so he'll come hang out, so we're gonna do the ghost hunt with Matt. But really, you're gonna get about a half-hour tour of Millennium Manor at 8:30, between 8 and 9 o'clock. You'll get a tour by the owners of this Millennium Manor. This place is like a concrete fortress in the middle of town, and it was built because this guy read a quote in the Bible, a scripture in the Bible, and thought the world was ending, so he made this, and then but it's crazy. And so somebody bought it, and they're restoring it, and they're making it bigger and better, just adding a lot of cool stuff to it. And it's really a one of a kind place. And even without the ghost hunting, this would be a great event. But you'll be able to be here after dark, which a lot of people don't get to do. So it's a cool experience. And we do technically have 2 tickets left on the site, so if you do want to attend, then you're able to do that.
Okay, quick follow-up. He built it because the world was getting ready to end. Have the people that are renovating it now mentioned they're doing that for the same reason?
They haven't to me.
Okay, I'm just saying, I watched the news. No, seriously, you beat me on my question because I looked at the picture of it and I said, that looks like the Alamo.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, yeah. And the guy who has it now has been, spent. This place is really going to be nice. I mean, it already is nice, but he's still got a long way to go. But it's going to be like a venue where they can do weddings and stuff like that. They've built a nice area. I mean, this is a one of a kind experience. It really is.
Chad.
If they built it like the Alamo, I hate to tell them, but that didn't work out too great for the first people who tried to weather the storm in there. But hopefully they have better luck.
Hopefully.
Richard, what else is going on that people need to know about at Frankencon this year?
I mean, honestly, we have a ton of activities. We have 2 panel rooms, one main one and a smaller one that'll have like podcasts and stuff like that going on. That they can do. Also in that smaller room, there's tables in the back, and there'll be puzzles and games that people can play. It kind of chill out. The hotel is very large. Even if you're not staying there, there's lots of places you can kind of get away from the crowd if you need to. We're pushing Franken Kids this year. It's going to be basically just activities that kids of all ages can enjoy, and making paper bag puppets and masks and just all sorts of fun things. The Facebook group East Tennessee Misfits and Weirdos is taking hold of that. We of course have a costume contest. One of the most popular things we have is our film fest. it's a crazy short film fest, and where it's 2 hours long, and everything is, I think the qualifications were either 12 minutes or less or 10 minutes or less. I can't remember. I think 12. But anyway, then there's some crazy stuff in there. Not for kids, not for the weak of heart. And this year we did Film Freeway, so we got some from all over the world. And so there's some really fun. I was able to judge some of them, and I had a lot of fun watching them. So that's a wild and crazy time. That's on Friday night at 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, we do a late movie Friday night, which is this year Critters, which of course Dee Wallace was in. So we wanted to kind of, show something that she was in, and Critters is a fun late night movie. So excited about that. One of the big things we're doing though is on Thursday, May 8th, we're doing the 80s Freak Out pre-show. And that's going to be it's one of our biggest productions. It's not just it's going to be really really cool. So you get Brian Bremer is the host, and then Rhonda Shear's going to come out, and her and Brian are going to talk for a while, ask questions, do all that kind of stuff. And then Rhonda will meet people in the back, to do autographs and stuff like that on Thursday. And then Kelly Maroney will be doing a live commentary at Chopping Mall after that. So very excited for those things. That's important because that was included with the super and VIP passes. But even if you're not going to Frankencon, you can go to this. So it's $45. You get about 4 hours of entertainment. It's going to be an 80s party. It'll be a great time. And yeah, so $45, you can come. You get Eventbrite is not very friendly when it comes to this, but it's an add-on to your ticket. So even if you don't buy a ticket or whatever, you just go to Eventbrite for Frankencon, and you select add-on and buy your ticket. So,
Well, sounds like a opportunity to dust off my parachute pants and
that's
throw
right.
a jacket and head out there.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun time. I hope you've never been, have you?
I haven't made it to Frankencon
Yeah,
yet,
you got to
but
get it there, man.
I am gonna do my best this year. Um, I can't wait. But we talked a lot about the guests and some of the events. How many vendors and what kind of vendors you have coming this year?
Oh yeah. So we have over 50 vendors this year. We have Orbit DVD. We have Paul Bearer Press. We have Vinegar Syndrome scheduled to be there. We have, I'm trying to think of the like bigger, those are like online stores that are pretty big. We're going to have them. And then we have so this year, because we have Adam Caesar, who wrote Clown in the Cornfield, which is going to be a movie that um, opens the weekend of Frankencon, he's going to be there. We got kind of a lot of authors, so there's many authors that some you've seen at Scarefest. I know John Wayne will be there, and I know he's a Scarefest staple. And we've got some jewelry people, of course. We've got some independent filmmakers there. We got some independent celebrities kind of there, and just all sorts of variety. We have a comic book store, Nirvana. They're going to be there. Rue Morgue is going to be there. I forgot they're very big too. So we've got a wide. So when Frankencon first started, I was in charge of the vendors, and that's it. And my life was great and in harmony. And now I'm in charge of a lot more than that. And but the vendors still hold a very special place in my heart. I know they're the heart and soul of the con, and I really really push to put them in an area where they're going to succeed in the layout and try to get a mix of what we got coming too.
Yeah, like you said, you can only spend so much time getting autographs. You gotta have vendors to make the trip worthwhile.
Yeah.
So, but we're at the bottom of the hour, so let's throw over to Wes and find out who's coming to Scarefest this year.
Let's kick off our announcements with Robert Mukes of House of 1,000 Corpses fame. Robert Mukes comes about every other year. Love the man, and this I didn't last year. The last time he was here, I didn't get my selfie with him. I always get a selfie with Robert, and he didn't mind doing it because I never get his face in it because the guy's like 8 foot tall. Okay, next up, Doug Bradley. Yes, this one came straight from the request line on the Scarefest fan group. You all were asking for him. Hellraiser himself, Pinhead. Yes, Doug Bradley is coming to Scarefest this year. The next one I want to tell you about, from Dead Silence, Judith Roberts, and she will be doing an in-costume photo op with Billy the Puppet. And rounding out our announcements of celebrities from Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jensen Daggett. And I've been sitting here all night since we said we was going to announce her. I fell in love with this girl on some movie or some TV show. And I know it wasn't Friday the 13th. We've decided it was when she did, what's the name of that, Chad?
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. We're fairly sure I fell in love with her on Home Improvement. Anyway, Jensen Daggett. Jensen Daggett is coming to Scarefest. I do want to go over some things that are going on right now. We are taking applications, I believe, still for Scarefest Inc. But now that is not open long, so that should be closing this any day if it hadn't already. But also, we are taking volunteer applications. A couple weeks ago, we went over what all the applications mean. If you want to go back to the archives on our YouTube channel, you can find, and we explain what all of the different departments of Scarefest do. But if you're interested in getting behind the scenes, getting your hands dirty, we would love to talk to you. Of course, speaker and media applications, or speaker applications for our seminars, media applications, they are online. Vendor registration is already long gone. We'll give that up. But anyway, just wanted to go ahead. This is the last time I'm showing that graphic. I wanted to get that in. But the big announcement tonight, at some point, I'm not sure when.
Should be 9:30.
Should be 9:30. Should be going right now. So don't everybody leave the chat room. But photo ops. Some photo ops are going on sale. Now for the flood of questions that follow that. No, the schedule is not ready. No, they're not all posted. But some that we knew people wanted to go ahead and get out there. Like, don't expect us to have a lot of the combo ops yet because we're still announcing people. But the photo ops are going to start selling as of tonight, maybe this very moment. Hey, check out Barb, my co-host Barb's. She does a little podcast also and releases it normally on Friday. This is because Friday is her birthday. Happy birthday, Barb. She did drop it a day early, but this week's topic is Bill Moseley's Monsters. Go to YouTube, search at Fear the Walking Heads. If you don't type the @ thing in front of it, you'll never find it because YouTube sucks on their search function. Fear the Talking Heads, at Fear the Talking Heads. That is the name of her channel. Or just look her up on Facebook. She links it all the time. And this weekend, tomorrow, the Enchanted Egg Hunt at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market, 1165 Center Parkway. Go to scarefestweekend.com. Click the link for Central Kentucky Mystical Market. You can find all kind of information, but they are having an Enchanted Egg Hunt, which is not just children, I understand. Also, apparently, there is an egg hunt for adults. I do not know how that's going to work, but it's in the Tates Creek area. So check that out if you got tomorrow free and you want to do something for the Easter weekend. Back to my guest, Richard Ewell of Franken Con fame. I hope we sell some tickets for you tonight because I love this convention. I want to see you thrive. And although I do want to point out, do I still even have my parachute pants? They might be hanging in that closet in there.
I think you do.
They don't fit though.
We don't throw nothing
Are you going to wear the same shorts you did last year?
No, absolutely not. Those shorts. if I don't lose about 10 or 15 pounds, those shorts may never go over my ass again. January was hard on the old man here. I sat in my recliner for about 31 days, and yeah, it's ugly. So no, though that cosplay is going into retirement at least until Scarefest books Frank.
Yeah.
And I'm begging for that.
I wanted to point out with the volunteers for Scarefest, in 2023, I volunteered, and it was the best experience ever. So people should do it. So.
And okay, now I want to touch also on what Chad said about your vendors. I'm just going to say it. I wonder why that's, I'm talking to Richard, but on the Instagram feed it's showing Chad. I have no idea why. That's wrong. Sorry, Instagram. Anyway,
Whoops.
somehow you have managed to put together a selection of vendors. I think your con might be the most expensive con that I go to from my own pocket.
Yeah.
And in particular, the little tchotchke vendors, the jewelry and stuff. Yeah, DVDs are great and all this horror memorabilia. But you managed to get some really top-notch jewelry vendors in there that have neat stuff, neat horror-related stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and a lot of we have a lot of artists that have some cool stickers and just stuff. Yeah, like tchotchkes, like you said. Yeah, I'm very proud and happy. We even have a freeze-dried candy company this year. So we had
That's a big thing now. That is a big thing now. The freeze-dried Skittles.
Well, in fact, it's so big that the big companies are starting to do it because they're like, so they have like Skittles Popped now, it's called, I think, and it's just freeze-dried Skittles.
Well, I mean, yeah, whatever works.
Yeah.
Now I do want to, okay, giving everybody kind of an idea when they get to Franken Con, if you get in the hotel, it'll be marked as far as getting you to the convention. Now, but okay, now this is something I've not even paid attention to really, once again, because I just don't do it. Now, the Watchtower, where is that actually located? A lot of your daytime events and after-hours events are located what's known as the Watchtower. So if someone's walking down that hallway, tell me where that would need to find.
I have a lot of signs this year. I've made a lot of banners, and we're going to have signage. So when you walk in, this hotel is a little different than other hotels because it's an airport hotel. So the front desk is actually closest to the airport. But the con and the ballrooms that we host in are on the other side. Right. So you park. There's free parking, Wes. I can't stress this enough. We have free parking. What con does that? We're crazy over here. So there is free parking. You can park in the Hilton lot. I'm hoping to have a sign out there saying that you can park there. But you can park in the Hilton lot right below the space. You walk up the stairs, and you'll be presented with 2 food trucks, hopefully. That's our plan. We usually have a couple food trucks. And then you walk in, and you walk right into where you purchase or check in to get your ticket. And to the left, we have the main vendor hall, which we call the laboratory. To the right, we have the Keep and Franken Kids area, and it's going to have video games that you can play for free, Wes. So if you're missing, I know you'll be over there. But the Watchtower is basically you just go down the main hall, and it's immediately on your right. Basically, you'll see signs right there.
Okay.
So everything's right there. Now, we do have the Franken family room, which is our smaller room. You'll have to walk a little bit farther, closer to the end of the hall. But that's where our photo ops and our Franken family room are. And there'll be a sign there, too. So I'm planning to have a map, too, to show people. So we're not so spread out that you can't find what you're looking for. But the Watchtower is a cool room. It's got the stage for the costume contests and for everything. It's got a projector. We show movie. That's where the film fest is. That's where Critters is. and then all of our other stuff. So we can fit about 140 people, I think, in that room. So for Joe Bob, if you're a Joe Bob fan, my suggestion would be, well, you're probably going to want to go Saturday because the Q&A that Joe Bob and Darcy are going to do is Saturday. But if you don't need that Q&A, you can go Friday, and it's kind of, shouldn't be as busy. But the Saturday Q&A, we plan for it to be a packed house. So get there, just plan accordingly, like to every con, But
yeah, just like yeah. This is the point of the conversation. To summarize, this is another convention that is going out of their way to give you shit to do the whole time you're there, other than just stand in line.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's the goal.
Well, to that end, let's talk a little bit. I know with Scarefest, we do a lot of these Scarefest TV episodes about things we've learned from prior years and how we fixed and improved them. Are there anything you want to get out there that people who've been there before, let them know that you've changed it, it's going to be different or improved in any way, or just different or new from previous years?
I mean, we're perfect from the get-go. No, I'm just kidding. So photo ops are something that if you were there the first year, the photo ops had some issues. But it turns out if you went the second year, the photo ops were a complete and utter disaster. Sometimes because we are a smaller con, we can't maybe get some of the larger photographers in, so we take chances on other people, and they don't particularly go the way that we want. And but so for the third year, we course corrected it. We know a photographer, and we convinced him to be our photographer last year, and they went off without a hitch. And what we do, we started off the first year kind of doing in-scene photo ops, and then the second year we kind of got out of it. But then the third year we really went into it. So we had like a bowling background for the Scream Queens because they were all in Sorority Babes and Slime Ball Bowl-rama. We had bowling pins that you could hold. We had a Thanksgiving set that had a table and you could sit at it, and it was dressed as a Thanksgiving table might be, with some blood splattered stuff. We also had a dinner scene with Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion. So we're trying to do different things, and that's going to take place with Cujo and Hills Have Eyes. We've got some cool things. The Rhonda Shear photo op is going to be really, really fun. So our photo ops are something that I'm pretty proud of now. We kind of go out of our way to make the photo ops the best they can be. So that's the major change, I would say. And the other thing is with like Joe Bob, we know his line is possibly going to be long and winding and such. So we've moved, we've put him in an area where we can run the line down the hall, so there's more space. And it's not so crowded in the vendor room. Even though the first year it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened, to be honest. The vendors loved it because they just had people shopping in front of them. So it turned out pretty good. But this year, we're doing that, and then we're rearranging the front desk. It's still at the, if people remember where the front desk or where our ticket sales is, we're just kind of moving it from here to like here. So it's in the same area, but we're gonna try some different things this year. Just because you have to try them and fail or succeed, but you want to know which way it's gonna go.
Well, having been around conventions for a little while myself, you are not the first one to talk about photo op problem. So
I mean, it is a thing, and I know some other cons that have went on record, and they've had issues too. And it's just one of those things. If you, I mean, like celeb photo ops is just they're the standard, you know. But you know they provide a lot, and you know, for a small con like us, it just doesn't make sense for us right now. But I'm hoping in the future that is something we can move towards. But you know, we use Cubster Cosplay Photography now, and Eli and Jerry and their team are just amazing. And that's the thing I like about Frankencon too, is like it's kind of a homegrown, like grassroots kind of thing where everybody kind of helps. You know, I mean, we have a costume contest because I met somebody that said that they would help with the costume contest, and now I mean, they run it. We wouldn't have a costume contest without them. And the Franken Kids thing I've been wanting to do for a while, and somebody else is taking hold of that. So I'm just really grateful for the community that's wrapped around this, and I just want as many people to see Frankencon, really. Not for like, I mean, I don't know if people know this, but conventions necessarily aren't something to retire on. Um, you know, we've put a lot of time, effort, and money into the last three. And even with this fourth one, you know, every year, you know, it supposedly gets easier. And I think the fourth year, we're looking at finally, you know, finding our footing in this kind of crazy convention world. So, and most everybody that I know that runs a con, they also have a full-time job and a family, you know. So people, I know people get upset when guests cancel or you know, things don't happen, or maybe they stood in line or they didn't get to meet somebody. But I mean, just know that I do believe that most every convention owner has good intentions and is trying. And sometimes you make the wrong decision and it messes things up, but hopefully you don't make that again, you know.
well, I think that's one of the things that the general convention attendee doesn't necessarily understand is that none of these happen without partnerships, like you said, local affiliates and partners who are willing to step in and provide some aspect, and then a team of volunteers to get involved. These are not professionally operated usually. It's a team of volunteers that are passionately uh, putting their efforts behind it to make sure that it goes off. So
It's amazing what people will do for a t-shirt.
it is. It is.
Hey,
And
hey,
sometimes
Wes,
not even voluntarily.
I'm just gonna be honest. We don't even give a T-shirt anymore. So that is one of the things with our volunteers. You know, we love them, and we I think the first year we gave T-shirts, and the second year we gave T-shirts. But T-shirts are expensive, and when we were going through our budget, you know, it was just one of those things where we could not. It's just not available for us right now. Um, and so we do give them the chance to buy a cheap a t-shirt, basically, where we don't make any money, but it says, we call our volunteers Igors because staff was already taken. So we thought Igors was fun, and so on the back of the volunteer shirt it does say Igor. So surprisingly, a lot of people bought the shirt, so that's cool. And we have a regular event shirt that says I was there on the back, and that's always fun. So we have some really cool stuff, really cool merch. We love merch. So
Well, the swag's what it's all about.
yeah.
But we're about ready to go over and see what Joe has to say about his movie this week.
Hey, Scarefest, this is Joe Lewis at Bonehead Weekly, and this week's review is of a series, spooky series on Amazon with the Kevin Bacons. And the series is called The Bondsman. Here's the plot. Kevin Bacon plays a bail bondsman, and he gets sent to hell after he is murdered for reasons that we find out later in the show. And they send him back so he can collect the souls of demons or demons that have escaped from hell. So he's basically a bail bondsman for Hellion bail bondsmen. And if this sounds familiar to you, that's because it's been done multiple times before. And there's a great series, and lasted, I think, only one season, called Brimstone, that was on Fox, and you should check that out. Is this as good as Brimstone? Is it awful? No. But it's never enough of anything. So what I want to say about it is that sometimes it's bloody, and that's cool. There's a great shot with the chainsaw and the head and stuff, and right around episode 5 or 6, there's some blood and guts and stuff as it goes through, but it's never really bloody enough. It's sometimes funny, but it's never really funny enough. It's never just enough. It takes a lot of the elements and things that we've seen before so many times about, demon hunters. It kind of puts them in a blender. I do like the aspects of hell, of the bureaucracy and whatnot, but there's other places that have done that before, but this one does that. That they do a little bit better now. There's like a hell, and the way that they get people to serve them is kind of like a pyramid scheme. Will you like it? It's only 8 episodes. Each episode's about 20-some minutes. So it's a 30-minute episode. So it's not a huge commitment. I did it over a couple of weeks. And I can't tell you that I'll ever watch it again, nor could I care less about a second season, but I didn't hate it. The good things about it are this: Kevin Bacon. The bad things are everything that I mentioned beforehand. Did I mention it as Kevin Bacon? Even a lot of the cast is miscast. And there's a lot of great roles that would have been really cool with some cool veteran genre character actors in it as we went through that would have been great for us who were watching it. But it doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have anybody delivering any kind of memorable performance except Kevin Bacon, who's really good in it, but he's still kind of just being Kevin Bacon. It'll do in a pinch. I like the fact that their episodes are short, so it's not a long commitment. I was able to get through most of it. I'll never watch it again. Probably no. I'll never watch it again. So if you have Amazon Prime, check out The Bondsman. The last critique I'll throw at it, it is something that Supernatural did a lot in the last few seasons. In fact, this show reminds you a lot of Supernatural. I mean, a lot. It just, even though it's shot in Atlanta or right around Georgia, it even looks like Supernatural a lot. They'll just cut to singing sequences because he and his ex-wife and his son are all estranged, but they're all country singers and they sing. And Kevin Bacon has the Bacon Brothers Band, and I get it. That must be cool for him to sing on his show. I fast-forwarded through a lot of it because I couldn't care less. Doesn't forward the plot, don't give a shit. And there's about 4 or 5 of those sequences where there's a 3 or 4 minute song. Just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry that the show didn't do it for me. Some of you are really going to like it. And if you do, feel free to yell at me and tell me why. I just didn't care for it. So, should you check out The Bondsman? Only if everything I said sounds kind of interesting. Check it out. Especially if you're a Kevin Bacon fan. He is good in it. But he's the only kind of memorable thing. The Bondsman is on Amazon. Check it out if you got the time, but don't be in any hurry. Definitely a C+. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly.
And welcome back, everybody, to the last few minutes of Scarefest Television, where tonight we're talking to Richard Ewell about Frankencon coming up May 9th and 10th. If you want more information, frankencontn.com, frankencontennessee.com. Google it or look it up on Facebook. Not that hard to find. I do want to answer a question from the chat room. Someone did ask, our photo ops are up, and someone asked why Robert Englund was so expensive. And the answer is because he's Robert fucking Englund. I wish there was a better explanation, but that's, yeah, it's him.
Everybody else wants that picture just as bad as you do.
Yeah. And the other thing is, and somebody mentioned in the chat room, yeah, he doesn't do table selfies. So if you want a photo with Robert, that's what you're going to do. So anyway, okay, back to Frankencon. I want to do a kind of touch on some on the seminars, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's see, where is that schedule at? Gee whiz, I just saw it.
It's on the homepage.
There it is.
Right in the middle, Wes.
Right in the middle on the bottom.
Right in the middle.
What do you, okay, on these seminars, now, okay, the first was Foothills Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call?
Yeah.
What's that one about? Do you know real quick?
So yeah, they're going to talk about the mythos of Ghostbusters, and then a little bit about how they started. There's lots of Ghostbusters chapters around, so
Gotcha.
they'll talk a little bit about them. And then I believe there might be a sing-along to a certain theme song.
Gotcha. Now they've got one about for Tennessee cryptids. Do you all have any cryptids that we don't?
I mean, I'm not really familiar with things. I know Bigfoot's big around here.
Yeah, we got Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know. Most everybody. We have a Bigfoot festival that usually happens.
That's true. Y'all do have a Bigfoot festival.
It usually happens like a week or two before Franken Con. I haven't heard about it this year, but yeah, and it's apparently huge. I've never been, but
y'all have a dog man? We have a dog man. Do y'all have a dog man?
I don't know. I don't think I keep up with that as much.
You probably do because ours is on Tennessee line, so y'all probably steal that too.
Yeah.
They got a Dolly Parton. That's a mythical creature.
That is our cryptid, yeah, Dolly.
Now this one I wish we could get one like this because I think we'd have a lot of people come out to it. How to fund your movie.
Yeah, so Richard Tanner and John Devlin, they've been a part of our film fest, and John is great. He started doing a series of short movies called Erecting a Monster, and we'll just stay with that. And it was for the first Frankencon, and he ended up making 3 total. And so him and his buddy Richard Tanner, they've made movies, and so they're a lot of times people don't have a lot of money, so this is a way to how to get it.
And it's important. That's my involvement with our film festival. That's one of the things I'm always fascinated with talking to filmmakers is because some of these you can tell they put some money in it, but on these independent films, it's very rare you're going to get that money back out of it. And I mean, just the passion that has to go into that to make that happen is just beyond me.
100%. Yeah. A lot of passion, a lot of hard work goes into especially indie filmmaking. So
yeah. Then going back to our photo ops, just wait till the reunion photos come out. Just wait till the reunion photos come out. Okay, we're at the end of the episode, everybody. Next week, we're going to be talking about the Warren Museum. Next week on the show, we'll be talking about the Warren Traveling Museum. But I do want to thank Richard for coming on tonight. And if you got anything else you want to make sure people know about Frankencon?
I mean, it's 3 weeks away. You still have time to make a quick trip down. Saturday, we're open 10 to 8. So we're open long. These are longer hours than we've ever had. We are just a Friday and Saturday show, if you haven't figured that out. We're weird. We don't do Sunday. So Saturday, you still have time to wake up a little early, get some breakfast, drive down, and then head back that night if you so choose. So, no, I appreciate you having me on, Wes. As always, you guys are awesome. I love Scarefest, and just appreciate you supporting us and having me on every year.
And of course, you can come to Frankencon and see me. I will be there. Adrian will be there. Brandon will be there. At the very minimum, us 3 will be there. But and I'll sign something for you.
And Brandon will still be waiting on his hamburger.
Yeah, he is not getting his hamburger from 2 years
2023.
Yeah. So so just so you know, order ahead at the restaurant. Everybody.
And they've gotten better. They have gotten better. They've got a little bit more staff. Last year was much better than the previous 2.
I had no complaints, but that was the funniest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life.
I sit down and she's like, "Do you need anything?"
Everybody, this has been Scarefest Television. See you next week.